condolences to the friends and family of Jamie, whose life was taken tragically. There are no words that can truly ease the sorrow of such a senseless and devastating loss. Please know that we are fully committed to seeking justice in every way we can. On March 9, 2025, at approximately 11:56 p.m., first responders were called to 2336 Douglas Street about a male who had been shot. That male was identified as Jamie White. He was pronounced deceased at 12:19 p.m. on March 10th. The Travis County Medical Examiner's Office conducted a post-mortem examination and ruled that the manner of Jamie's death was a homicide and the cause of death was a gunshot wound of the head. Evidence found at the scene led us to believe that the suspects in this case were attempting to steal Jamie's vehicle, that he confronted them, and that he was shot as a result. During the investigation, we relocated surveillance video from surrounding businesses and residences. We were able to identify the suspect vehicle as being a black Kia Soul. That vehicle was identified as having been stolen from an apartment complex in Kyle on March 9th. That vehicle was recovered, abandoned by the Austin Police Department near Springdale Road on March 10th. We located surveillance video from the apartment complex where the black Kia was stolen. In Kyle, from that video, we learned that the suspects were driving a silver Kia Soul when they arrived to steal the black Kia. We were able to identify that vehicle, the silver Kia Soul, as having been stolen on March 10th near Springdale Road, very close to where the stolen black Kia was abandoned after Jamie was murdered. We were also able to locate license plate reader scans of the stolen silver Kia's license plate. Using all that data, the locations and the times, the locations included where the silver Kia was stolen, the location where the black Kia was stolen, the location of the license plate reader scans, the location of Jamie's murder, and the location of where the black Kia was abandoned after the murder, along with very specific time frames for each location. We served search warrants to cell phone carriers for the cell tower data for those locations and very specific times. Using that data, we were able to identify a cell phone that was communicating with cell towers in those locations at the specific times. We then served a search warrant on that cell phone to that cell phone carrier for the call detail records for that particular device. And the data showed us that that data that we got back showed us who the individual who owned that phone was communicating with immediately before, during, and immediately after Jamie's murder. This data led us to the identification of 4 suspects. All have been arrested. All have been charged with capital murder in this case. They are identified as Eloy Camarillo, a 17-year-old Hispanic male arrested on April 30th, a 15-year-old juvenile arrested on May 5th, juvenile male, a second 15-year-old juvenile male arrested on May 20th, and Rodney Charles Hill, a 17-year-old black male arrested on May 27th. Just to clarify state law so you guys understand why they're charged the way they're charged. In Texas, the offense of capital murder includes intentionally committing murder during the course of a kidnapping, a robbery, a burglary, an aggravated sexual assault, obstruction or retaliation, or terroristic threat. In this case, the suspects entered Jamie's vehicle, also a Kia Soul, with the intent to steal it. In the state of Texas, when a person enters a vehicle with the intent to commit theft, they're committing the offense of burglary of a vehicle, making Jamie's murder a capital offense. Additionally, Texas law stipulates that a person can be held criminally responsible for the actions of another if, in the attempt to carry out one felony, another felony is committed by one of the conspirators. All conspirators are deemed guilty of the felony actually committed. Therefore, all the suspects in this case have been charged with capital murder. At this time, we do not believe that Jamie was targeted. Instead, we believe this is a very unfortunate and tragic series of senseless events leading to involving the 4 individuals who obviously have no value for human life. This investigation still remains open and is still active, but we believe at this time all the individuals responsible for Jamie's murder are in custody. Does anybody have any questions?
These are teens, this is like kids. Talk to me about, I feel like we're seeing this more and more.
Well, as you know, we had a very similar murder under very similar circumstances just a few weeks ago. I know that we had a very similar case in 23 under very similar circumstances. I know that we've had other incidents where young men have been interrupted during the course of a theft, of a vehicle theft, and fired rounds or shot somebody and that person didn't die. So this is a very big problem in Austin, and we are trying to do what we can to hold those individuals accountable.
A lot of these, these cars are stolen. The Kias, and now that's been a big issue across the country, not just here in Austin.
That's correct.
What do you advise those owners of these vehicles? I understand that Kia itself has kind of done some things, and they're giving out, steering wheel locks and things of that nature. But what do you advise the drivers and owners of these vehicles to do?
If there is a way to prevent their car from being stolen, to do that and take whatever Kia is offering to help you prevent that. I know in this case, for example, we have evidence that they tried to steal another Kia Soul. We have that on video, but there was a steering wheel lock on, and they immediately moved on to a different vehicle. So those steering wheel locks work. They're gonna try to get the easiest target they can and not have to deal with a steering wheel lock. So that's a very cheap way to fix this, correct? So if there's something you can do to prevent your car from being stolen, please do that. I understand when people want to protect their property. What we are seeing in this city is all these kids are armed. They're breaking in and stealing guns from that people leave in their cars. So they are all armed. Most of them are armed with stolen weapons, and they are not afraid to use them if they need to. The way that these things go down is they have people breaking into the car, and they'll have 1 or 2 people standing guard, armed, ready to take action if needed. That's what we're seeing in all these cases. So be very cautious. Like I said, I understand wanting to protect your property, but be very cautious when going out to protect your property, because it's very likely these individuals are armed.
And then the use of the LPRs, the assistance that technology is able to provide you in this investigation, how valuable is that?
That was extremely valuable, and we're very fortunate that we got it. As you know, in the city of Austin, we have 7 days worth of data, and we were like coming up to that period. We had a few hours left when we discovered that we needed. When we discovered that data, or that the silver vehicle was involved, and we were able to get that data. If it would have been a few hours later, we would have lost it and not had the information that we needed. So it was extremely helpful in this case, and actually we were able to put people on scene and tie people to this murder with that data. Without it, it would not have been. That information would not have been available.
You're saying to be cautious if someone finds himself in this sort of circumstance because those kids are armed. What would you tell them is the first thing to do if someone's getting their car burglarized?
Absolutely, the first thing to do is to call 911 and report it, and give good direction, give good descriptions, give good directions of travel if they leave. That would be your best bet. Your car is just really, I understand wanting to protect your property, but your vehicle is not worth your life.
Do we know where these kids are from? Or are they coming from outside?
They are all Austin kids.
We'll take one more.
Okay.
Are there photos of any of the other suspects?
The other suspects are juveniles, so they will not have photos for them.
17 is not a juvenile?
Not in Texas. 17 is an adult in Texas. Thank you very much.
So there's 2 suspects that have photos and then 2 that don't, because they're juveniles.
And we can send you guys these booking photos and the booking photo from the last conference too.